there, my name is Steve Gearhart, and as always, this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. I appreciate it that you do. This week we're going to do a quick anime review of Terminator Zero, which you can find on Netflix. It's a Netflix anime series. Before we get into that review, though, I'd just like to make a quick mention that if you could wait until the end of today's video and kind of watch the end, because I have to talk about a couple things about the video over the next the channel over the next couple weeks, and it's kind of important. So if you could stick around and just hear what I have to say, that would be awesome. All right, so enough of that. Let us get into Netflix's anime series Terminator Zero. All right, Terminator Zero. As we are all aware, Netflix does their own anime series. Sometimes they produce it on their own and get Japanese talent to do the thing, or sometimes they do a co-production with a very well-known company. Terminator Zero was done in conjunction with Production IG and a couple other lesser studios, but Production IG is the one, the big takeaway from this. And Terminator Zero came out on August 29th, 2024, official release. If you know your Terminator lore, that is the day that Skynet goes active and tries to kill all of humanity. So there you go. It was kind of a tongue-in-cheek official date. But what was interesting is that a few days earlier, it actually all eight episodes had been leaked online somehow. So so that was kind of interesting that came out. There's some other anime that were also leaked at the same time. This happened to be one of them. But they did the official release, of course, on the date that the world ends, so to speak. So that's kind of fun, little tidbit there. But let us dive, before we talk about the plot and my review of it, let's dive into some of the specifics, some of the data here. Like I said, it's 8 episodes. This is actually very easily digested. You can do this. You can totally binge watch this. This is between 25 and 30 minutes per episode. So that's basically an afternoon right there of watching it. And honestly, you'll find that it's probably easy to get through at least half of it in one go. So yeah, it was done by Production IG, released in 2024. The director is a Japanese director by the name of Masashi Kudo. Now, if that name sounds familiar, I'm just going to read off some of the stuff that he's done. He did a lot of character design work. He's also he's directed some stuff as well. But he did some character designs. Bleach, Hayate, the Combat Butler, Survival Game Club, let's see here, Chain Chronicle, Sanrio Boys, he was involved with that. A bunch of anime films, and he's got something coming up with character design called Aquarion Myth of Emotion. That's going to be coming up this year. Of course, the latest thing he's done is Terminator Zero. Other than that, so yeah, so you know he's got a pedigree. He's got a resume. So the guy who wrote this is Mattson Tomlin. Now, that name may not be familiar to you, but he's got some cred. He's kind of starting off as a writer. That's his main gig. He's not really a director or anything, but he is a writer. He has written, let's go down the list here. Project Power, Little Fish. He was the writer and director and producer of Mother/Android. He is uncredited, but he's one of the 3 writers of the Batman that came out, the alternative universe with Patterson in it. He is also one of the co-writers for the upcoming Batman sequel, to be announced. Mega Man. There's some other stuff coming up, but you know that's his gig. So when Tomlin decided to write this, he was asked by Production IG to basically make this as Japanese as possible. So what he did is he basically based everything in Tokyo and, you know, wrote the story from that angle. When Masahashi Kudo was tasked to direct it, the primary voice, this is primarily a Japanese voice actor driven show, but there are American voice actors for the dub. And in that you have Rosario Dawson, let's see here, Timothy Oliphant, he does the Terminator, and a couple other people on there. So it's it's got some chops behind it in terms of money and talent and all that good stuff. And it surprised me that it was only 8 episodes long. I actually watched the first 5 in one go. So let's talk about plot. Now, as I said, this was production IG kind of said, hey, let's make this Terminator story as Japanese as possible. Let's put this in Japan, put it in Tokyo, and let's take it from that direction. So when Tom did that, he said that he decided that he was going to write a story that is in canon with the Terminator universe. So all the Terminator movies and all that stuff, this is in that universe. It treats it as canon. So this is just a sort of kind of like not a side story, but something that was happening off to the side as Skynet was trying to go active. This takes place the day before Skynet pretty much tries to end the world. And so we have this character, Malcolm Lee, a scientist. And of course, we start off with the atypical Terminator start, where, you know, he is envisioning a nuclear war and people just melting from the nuclear blast and things like that. And he wakes up and he's in a nightmare. Turns out that he is the head of a project to create an artificial intelligence that will counter Skynet. And in the first 5 episodes, well, first 4.5 episodes, it is very unclear as to how Malcolm Lee actually knows this. Like, why is he having these dreams? How does he know that this is definitely going to happen? We don't get that answer for a long time. What we get are dreams. And, you know, when he's sitting there and he's talking to his AI, which is kind of interesting, he's trying to relate the dreams. And they're saying, we don't get it. How do you know the future? So when he's creating this artificial intelligence, Kokoro, I believe is the name, and he is creating this AI tasked specifically to stop Skynet from destroying the world. He has a backup plan. Part of the backup plan is that basically he's putting together the Japanese portion of the resistance in Japan should the AI thing not work out. So his kids are the plan, basically, our plan B. So he has a caretaker, a house caretaker, Masaki, and her name is Masaki, and she is tasked with taking care of the kids and things like that. And there's some interesting interactions she has out in the world, and she comes back, and you notice one of the things that in the apartment is that there's very little microchip technology inside of the apartment that they live in. Now, the apartment is very nice and big because Malcolm Lee is the head of research of this huge corporation, and he's the bigwig, so they got money. And so he doesn't like to have a whole lot of microchips in the thing because he knows about Skynet, right? So he's afraid that things will get taken over and blah, blah, blah. What is interesting is that the timeline of this is that this takes place, of course, back in the past, in 97, and the day before Skynet before Judgment Day. And so he goes off to work, and we don't know this yet, but he goes off to work and kind of is, being the stern father kind of thing. Then he gets to work and you realize, oh crap, we got 24 hours before Skynet goes active, right? So he has built this AI, and it's a very complex AI, and it has its own reasoning, its own emotions, and the whole 9 yards. He's taken it to the nth level. And what he's trying to do is to convince the AI to help him, because he's been having conversations with this AI that he's constructed, and the AI is just like, why should we save humanity? Why? What's the point? When I say we, you'll see that there's 3 images. It's really from the same construct, but the AI is just like, to what point? You guys just murder each other all the time, so we don't get it. Is Skynet really wrong? It's kind of, it's like if you watch the Marvel Universe, he goes, Thanos was right. This particular AI is just like, Skynet might be right about this. So Malcolm Lee is trying to convince the AI to help. Now, of course, like I said, he has a backup plan, which are the kids. The kids are playing with this toy, and the toy is like this basically robotic cat, and the cat runs off because it's basically 2 boys and a girl, and the girl wants, to keep it as a pet, and the two boys want to take it apart, and blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, by the way, the mother's dead as usual. That's in these kind of stories. Mother's dead, just a picture on a shelf. And so, this is, and, father's estranged. So, not the most happiest of families. So she runs away, and the kids go running after her. Masaki is in the bathroom. She cut herself, and she's trying to clean up, and she doesn't know that they've run away. Or, the daughter's run away. Rika has run away, and that the boys are trying to find her. So she figures that out, and she's trying to find them. And she calls the corporate office, and Malcolm Lee is just like, oh my God, and gets out. And there to help Masaki track down the kids because they're very important plan B, right? So while all this is going on, we shoot off into the future, 2022. And we see from the point of the Tokyo, for the Japanese resistance, the humans in Japan resisting the robots. And they figure out, and it's just kind of like the same as, as the regular storyline. We need to protect the past to change the future. So they send, so the Japanese Skynet contingent sends their Terminator back. They send a person back, which is a woman this time now, not Reese. Reese is in a different area of the world, obviously. And so she goes back, and her main goal is to stop Malcolm Lee from trying to convince the AI to help and to focus on the kids. So when she realizes the kids are missing, she helps Masaki kind of to go and find the kids. And that's where I'm going to end the plot summary. Oh, by the way, it all starts with basically this woman who is our heroine of the story fighting a particular Terminator. When they're trying to get the data to figure out what Skynet's going to do next, there's this huge fight, and it's just, boy is it bloody. Like, we're talking like smashed heads, like entrails out, and so if you're squeamish about blood, this is going to be bloody and violent. So that's it for the plot summary. So how do I feel about this? I like the fact that this is basically a separate contingent of the human resistance, because they're not totally all in one under one command, really. They're disparate commands over the world. Connor happens to be in charge of the largest one and the most effective one, I guess you would say. But the Japanese contingent are trying their best, and I like the idea that they're saying that everything that we know about Terminator in the movies and such is canon. Like, that happened. We're not messing with that. But this is the Japanese story. This is the Japanese group's story of this. So I like this idea of it. And they do talk about alternate timelines and things like that. And so they try to kind of assess that and just kind of go, okay, here's the point of all this, why we're sending you back in time, is so that we can try to avoid this future and create a newer timeline, so to speak. And so I like that little bit of logic and explanation. I like the idea of an alternative AI that's supposed to take on Skynet, but is self-aware enough to go, should I? It's just kind of like, well, I don't know, Malcolm. Convince me. So there's these interesting dialogues between Malcolm and this AI, Kokoroko. I think I'm saying it right. And there's interesting visuals that they keep throwing into those discussions. So it's going to be a little bit disconcerting, or discombobulating a little bit, because as he's talking, the AI creates images around them to kind of visualize what he's saying, as if to say, hey, is this what you're saying? Is this what you're getting at? And as long as he keeps talking, then yes, the answer is yes. So that was kind of interesting. The animation is better quality than normal, but I wouldn't say that it's outstanding. They use some interesting color palettes to denote shading. Pink is a color that's used for shadowing, for the hair. Hard to explain. If you watch it, you'll see what I mean. it is a story that is not boring. It's not going to bore you, even though there's some dialogue between Malcolm Lee and the AI. It's interesting. That's part of the reason for the visuals, I think. And the action is actually pretty good. It's on par with what you would expect from a Terminator movie. The Terminator itself is not the liquid Terminator, right? Right? It's the regular, Arnold Schwarzenegger model. That's the Terminator that they're referring to. Or at least we haven't seen the liquid model in this anime yet. I'm like I said, I'm on episode 5, or I just finished episode 5, so I've got 3 more episodes to go. 6, 7, 8, yeah, 3 more episodes to go. So things could change, but visually it's interesting. Action is good. You like the first 5 minutes of the series, you're just like, oh god, please, no, oh no. Oh no! Oh, that was gross. You're going to have those moments. So it's kind of interesting. I did not watch it with the English dub. I tend to just go ahead with Japanese voice acting with subtitles. I'm not a sub or dub. I don't have a preference. Sometimes I just run with one and not the other. I can tell you that the actors who are doing the big name actors I enjoy, so I'm sure that if I were to watch the English dub, that would be fine. I don't imagine I would be like, oh my god, this sucks. So interesting how also one of the things is that we know the Terminator theme, right? That stuff. You don't quite get it until you hear the noises and you understand that the noises are doing the cadence of the song. It's kind of cool when that works out. So enjoy that little tidbit. So would I encourage you to watch this? If you are a Terminator fan, if you are a fan of the Terminator movies, the original, maybe the first 2 or only, or I don't know how you would feel about the ones since then. For me, they're hit or miss. Some of the ones I like, some of the ones I don't. But if you're worried about canon, don't. This is part of canon. It doesn't really deviate that much, other than just telling the Japanese portion of it, of the overall story. It's kind of like how Gundam will take a little small sliver of the Century War, and you just focus on that one little whatever unit, whatever it is, and that there's this bigger thing going on, but you're really focused on this. That is kind of like that. We know that everyone's who's aware of Skynet knows that this impending doom is coming, and they're kind of focusing on their little corner of the world. So that's kind of neat to know. And also having this idea that there's a possible AI that may or may not help, that is sentient enough to question whether it should or shouldn't, and having a guy justify why they should. And then of course having the kids as alternate plan B with this heroine that comes in. There is a hint that she left her girlfriend behind. So while I don't have a problem with that, some people might have a problem with that. If you do, let it go, because it's there for about 10 seconds. Okay, so just move on. Okay, just don't get your panties in a bunch over that. I think it's part of the story and it's fine. Anyway, so should you watch this? Should you watch this anime? Yes, I think you should, especially if you're a fan of the Terminator franchise. It fits well. It's not, it works within its own framework. It's not going to try to, really do much against the movies, if you know what I mean. If you want a science fiction anime to watch, definitely give this a go. It's on, like I said, it's on Netflix, 8 episodes, easy to watch. And I think you'll enjoy it. It's not going to be like Ghost in the Shell, where you got a lot of talkie and interesting things that you have to think about. There's some talkie, but it's pretty clear. You don't have to think about it too much. You don't need to keep watching the same thing over and over again to make sure you understand something. You'll get it. It's fine. But it is actiony without being shonen. I'll put it that way. Characters are fairly relatable. And I just think the concepts are interesting. So yes, give it a try. I think you should give it a try. If action anime, science fiction anime, Terminator franchise is your ballywick, give it a go. I think you'll like it. All right, that was the review for Terminator Zero. I hope you give it a try. It's 8 episodes on Netflix. Give it a go. It's a pretty easy, fun watch. And once you're done with it, you can go on to the next big 42 episode anime, or maybe you go on to the Galactic Heroes anime that goes on forever and ever and ever. So like I said at the beginning of this video, if you could hold on and watch this portion of it, because I need to talk about the channel for the next couple, what's going to happen to the channel over the next couple weeks. So for those of you who know, my mother passed away 6 years ago, and I talk about that on the anniversary of her death in November. Unfortunately, this is another close member of the family, elderly. She's in her mid-70s. Multiple transplants, sickly, the whole 9 yards, and she caught pneumonia about a week ago, and that just snowballed into us putting her us putting her into hospice care. The next couple days will probably most likely confirm that. We're at 80%, most likely putting her into hospice end of life care. Sucks, but that's how life goes sometimes. So what that means for the channel is I do have a pre-recorded video review of a movie, a live action movie. It's a silent movie, actually. And so that will be up most likely next week. Now, that's in the event of her passing. Once we put her into hospice care, we don't expect this to last. If she does go into hospice care and we take her off the ventilator, we don't expect her to last very long. So unless a miracle happens, that's basically what the time frame looks like. If it goes on for longer, the next week after that, I will have a video up, but it's probably just kind of giving you guys a hey, here's what's going on. Next week I'll give you a video if I have time and not dealing with this. So that is unfortunately what the next couple weeks for the channel is going to look like. I will be on Anime Archaeology. You can see that we have those pre-recorded. So I'll be there on Sunday night. So go over to the Anime Archaeology and take a look at the videos that we post up there. So yeah, unfortunately, got some stuff to deal with over the next couple weeks, and I'll let you guys know what's going on. But you'll definitely get a video next week, and then I'll update you on the week after if that's necessary. All right, guys. I swear they're not coming for me. If you can hear that siren, it's not me. They're going after somebody else. I hope. Yeah, sounds like they're going after somebody else. All right, so that is the deal. As always, please take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves, because I do love you guys and I do want to meet you in the future. So please, please, please take care of yourselves. All right, you take it easy. Have a good one. Enjoy Terminator Zero, and I'll see you next time.